What's up, guys? It's Nick. I've been getting a lot of requests on Instagram, emails, and a lot of stuff about people asking me patterns on my sticks. What's the pattern, Nick? What's the pattern? What's the pattern? And I know that's what a lot of you guys are accustomed to is, you know, taking a pattern and going to town, and there you have your stick. That might be true for some cases, but for me, I've learned to string a different way, and I just don't follow patterns. I just string it all the way down, and I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything, but I just learned a way to do it that enables me not to use doubles, singles, and every pocket comes out with a crisp, nice channel. Any pocket placement can be achieved, and I'm going to show you how. The 6 steps that I wrote down. This, obviously, blade. This is a modified pattern now, obviously. The sidewall is going through 3 holes first. It's stopping. It's got a 1 SI, a double, just something that I wouldn't do in a normal head. But I'm going to take out the Lakota, and as you can see on this head, it's very, very much different. All it is knots, special interlocks, SIs, and stretched knots. So you can see the stick. Just going to leave it there for a second. I'm just going to read off of here so you guys get the idea. The first thing what you're going to need to do is the top string tension. I cannot stress this enough. You make it too tight or too loose, and it's going to create a really gap in the pocket. You string the top string always, in my opinion, on the second hole. I like to do that because it leaves an inch from where your knot is to the actual top string. If you were able to go straight across, make an imaginary line up. And I find that if you do it tight, triangle top string, even a regular top string, it's going to work fine. Second thing, where you stop the sidewalls, it really makes no difference. Some people think, oh, geez, let me start at the top, let me start third hole down, and sometimes I guess that could matter, but for me, when I do it, it really doesn't matter because, like I said, I'm only stretching the first 3 to 4 diamonds of the 10 diamond rows down pretty tight. The first 2 could be stretched really tight to the point where you might think it might not align with the hole, but I'm stretching it really that far down to get that channel. And that's what you're going to have to do. You might not think that it's going to be possible, but try it. If you see a hole that doesn't line up with diamond hole doesn't line up with a hole, and it's about 1.5 inches apart, try putting a knot through and tighten it down as hard as you can, and you'll see that it'll sit just a little bit above the hole, and then you can start your next one a little bit looser, and it'll be great. So I like to look at the head, visualize the channel. So like what I like to do is I'll do my top string, like I said, on the second hole, always on the second hole. I'll stop my sidewall string on the third, or sometimes on the second, wherever it corresponds to my first 10 diamond row. And I'm going to latch that. I'm not even going to push that down. I'm just going to latch it right to the sidewall. So if I show you guys over here, you can see a better definition of it. And then the first 10 diamond rows, you see, I skipped 2 holes and I knotted it down pretty tight. Now, you look at the next one, I only skipped 1 hole and then knotted it. But if you look, it's almost the same difference. This one's a little bit tighter. You can go really tight to looser to looser. You can go tight to tight to tight. And what will happen is that once you do your 3 to 4, when you look at your stick, you find where the flare point of the head ends, and it's usually right here. So when you lift up the head after you've done your knots, you'll see the channel actually form. And when you pull it the other way, you'll say, oh, damn, there it is. So then what I like to do is, after I'm done stringing my knots, my 3 or 4 knots, however many knots I have to string, I'll say 3 to 4, to get me to this point of the head. And what I'll do is I'll actually take the heel of my foot, and I'll explain it, heel of the foot, and I'll just push it out. So the whole mesh piece, without me even stringing all the way down here, is actually pushing the whole pocket up. But what that does is that tells me where the channel is going to stop. Sometimes it looks like this when I'm pushing it out. The channel's over here, the pocket's over there. So I know that I'm going to get a good channel out of it, and I know it's portioned down. And then I say to myself, okay, well, this kid wants a mid pocket, this dude wants a mid-low pocket. After that, I decide, okay, if he wants a mid pocket, and I've stretched all the way down to, let's say halfway down to here, which is not quite midpoint, but almost midpoint, and he wants a regular mid pocket, the next hole I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw an SI in it. Why? Because it's just going to start my almost singles. SIs are almost like singles in a way, but they just don't allow the pocket to shift. What I mean is that when you have a ball in it, the pocket just goes up and down. The pocket on other sticks that have, sidewalls with 2s, 1s, all going all the way down, the whole pocket will move up and down with the ball. And especially if you have a new ball, it'll create an unnecessary whip after a few games. And what I like to do, like I said, after the last knot, I'll put in the SI. Sometimes I'll just finish it with the SIs all the way down to here, and then tie it off at the bottom. Sometimes I'll go down, and if the dude wants, let's say, like a little higher up pocket, wants it more up here, pull the bottom string down a little bit just to show you guys. Say if he wants it more up, let's say it's more of the pocket. Ball wants to sit right up here. Obviously, instead of throwing a 2 in there, I'm going to throw an SI and then a stacked SI. Stacked SIs almost act like 2s. So after you're done with your big knots, stretching all them down, you do a stacked SI, almost like a 2, and then you just do SI, 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 all the way till you have 2 sidewall holes at the end. I like to call it an inch, and then you pull it through the last hole here, which is a 10 diamond row. Always end on a 10 diamond row. End it. Your bottom string should always be on that same row. I see a lot of people that string heads that they have bottom string pockets, which means they string the head and it's really shallow. It just kind of looks kind of funky, and the bottom string is just hanging out way, way, very far, and that's what's causing the pocket to come out. But what I like to do is, if you can see the inside, it's just a kind of like a knot slash SI. I pull it through all the way to the bottom. It's actually not a bottom hole, but a sidewall hole. Sometimes I'll pull it right through the bottom. I'll knot it off, bring it right back up, pull it through 3, crisscross down, go straight across over, back up through 3, come down, and then I'll adjust the tension so that these lines end up lining up with that last diamond. I'm not going to pull them down crazily. I want them to line up with the hole that I skipped. If you can see that, I'll pull it in a little bit further. Okay, I skipped that hole right there. I want it to line up respectfully there. So after I'm done with this, then I can decide to put my shooters in. I put them in very loosely. I don't tie them.